low to the body. You see Canelo, you see Joshua do it. They go low to the body and go high. You see that shot? Boom, boom. So I was doing this, right? Like you. The boxing way is, a lot of people do this in boxing. They step forward, yeah? You never. You jumped in. So then you jumped in and then you're here. You're right here. So I'm just doing the simple drill.
It seems to me that Conor McGregor has an advantage in being able to close the distance and maybe a speed advantage. This is a perceived thing based on seeing them fight different people.
Conor McGregor is training as if the bout had already been scheduled, even though the fight isn't signed and the opponent doesn't exist on paper. No announcement or rollout, just sessions that appear purposeful rather than focused on advertising. McGregor's work indicates that he is preparing for attention rather than seeking it as the White House card begins to take shape. The commotion can wait. He plans to be prepared when the lights come on and history is being enacted.
I'm going to give you a fighter's name and you have to tell me whether you think that they have to spend 2-3 years in Dagestan. Conor McGregor.
Conor, no, not allowed. Sean Brady, no. He don't have to come. Machado, yeah, he have to spend some time in Dagestan. Paddy Pimblett, he have to live in Dagestan to learn how to wrestle. Latapuro, like our neighbor. Chandler, yeah, for cardio, he have to come. Camaro is already been there. Leon Edwards, who was training in AKA before, he can come. Mandalena, it's good area for him. Welcome.
There is a genuine sense of fascination in Joe Rogan's voice when discussing Conor, and it stems from something very particular. He emphasizes that Conor doesn't require time to warm up by repeatedly referring to those first few minutes. He gets off to a quick, sharp start and is already dangerous and locked in. Rogan believes that's what makes McGregor so problematic. Right from the start, the threat is there from the moment the fight starts, the timing is live, and the power is instantaneous. Every Conor battle becomes one of survival rather than strategy because of that sudden volatility which he will bring to the card.
So wild to see, like, it's like when Conor knocked out Jose Aldo. You ever see that shit?
Yeah,
where he was practicing that? He was like mimicking Aldo, and then he was practicing, like, just launching that left hand when he moves in.
Yeah, and then...
And the same thing, got him out of character, got him fucked up and flustered, got him angry. Nobody had disrespected Aldo before that. Everyone was terrified of Aldo.
I still think one of the greatest 145ers.
One of the greatest of all time. I mean, yeah, Conor got him. Yeah, Conor got him. No doubt.
But he was better than Conor overall. Because his wrestling
his career was certainly better than Conor's. But the thing about Conor is, in that first round particularly, he's so explosive and so quick.
Timing too.
Yes.
He comes in with the timing on fucking like dialed right in.
And that touch of death. He's got these big ass hands and he just fucking launches them at people. In that first round, he's one of the most dangerous guys alive.
For sure.
He's so good, and it's just, I wonder how he's going to come back.
When Rogan discusses those actual weigh-ins, ones that reveal the toll before the spectacle starts, his tone changes. He saw Conor flexing through a body that was already tense from the cut, looking exhausted and barely holding it together. The subsequent transformation was startling. By fight night, he was a completely different person, and Rogan repeatedly emphasizes the mental strength required to get there. Conor's size and danger made the payoff clear, but Rogan doesn't overlook the cost, strain on the chin, the organs, and the reflexes. It serves as a reminder that McGregor's supremacy was the result of a calculated risk with his own body rather than just skill.
I heard he would have the massive weight cuts too at 45.
Oh my God, he looked like death. Yeah. He was one of those guys when I would see him, that was the real weigh-ins. That wasn't the weigh-ins where guys were a ceremonial weigh-in, where they weighed in at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, look at him at weigh-in. And that motherfucker looks like he's on death's door.
Yeah.
And all that flexing and craziness, like your body is like, you could cramp up real bad at that point.
It's happened to me numerous times. You flex a little too hard after the weight cut.
Yeah, look at the difference. I mean, it's extraordinary. I mean, he's gaining a solid 20 plus pounds of water. So like just the amount of mental strength it took to get down to that 145, it was crazy. But at 145, he's so fucking big That's the thing. It's like there's a giant benefit to it, but man, the cost on your kidneys and your organs and
the chin.
And the chin. Yeah.
Reflexes.
Oh, your head, you're just fucking but that was the IV days though too.
Yeah.
You could rehydrate.
4 banana bags to the face, you're fine the next day.
Rogan's breakdown of Conor's brutal weight cut segues perfectly into Cormier's point. Once you've already reached the top, stepping back into the cage carries a different kind of pressure. Facing punches, knees, and elbows isn't just physical anymore, it's a mental calculation. Cormier uses Conor as the perfect example. When you've already achieved massive success, every strike feels heavier, every cut feels riskier, and suddenly the question sneaks in. Do you really need to put yourself through this again? It shows that McGregor's battles are as much about mindset and resolve as they are about timing and power.
When you go into the octagon, like I always say, hey, they say, man, are you nervous about this TV and all? I'm like, bro, I fought in front of millions of people in my underwear. Yep. You got some shorts on and nothing else, gloves, right?
Yeah.
So nothing makes me nervous anymore.
Right.
But to do that as a very, very rich man,
yes,
and get hit and get kneed and elbow, what if you get cut? You start going, God, I don't really need to do this no more, man.
Right.
Whereas Dana White has put the brakes on the McGregor versus Chandler matchup at the White House event, but he makes it clear Conor isn't out of the picture. McGregor is still very much a possibility for the card, leaving the door open for whatever spectacle the UFC has in mind. The message is simple. The fight might change, but Conor's presence and the chaos he brings remains a serious consideration.
And no disrespect to Chandler, we love Chandler. Chandler's one of the... You don't have enough time in your show for me to talk to you about how awesome Chandler is. And you know how I feel about Conor and everything that he's done for the sport and this company. But yeah, that's not the fight we're going with.
Go ahead, AJ.
Dana, I mean, I know you're saying that's not the fight, but is there anything, I know Conor's been publicly asking for this, he wants to be on the card. Is there anything that you're looking for him to do to prove that he's responsible and he can be the guy to headline that card?
Conor and I have a great relationship. You know, we talk a lot, you know, through text. And yeah, he's definitely in the running for this fight.
And Conor McGregor is angling for a high-profile clash with Islam Makhachev, and the White House card is the stage he has in mind. He frames it as a southpaw versus southpaw showdown, praising Islam's courage for moving up in weight, and making it clear that if it happens there, fans are in for a serious hard-hitting scrap right under the brightest lights. It's the kind of fight that could define the card and Conor's next chapter before it even starts.
Does Islam motivate you a bit more than most, like any other champ?
I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, and I for sure want to crack at that belt. I for sure want to crack at that 70-pound belt to go for the Triple Crown.
And what a fight that would be, you and Islam. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, after all these years?
A good fight, a good scrap. Southpaw. It was a good performance out of him, and fair play to him. He had the courage to do it, to go up. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Let's see what happens. Let's get back in the mix.
While McGregor is angling for a blockbuster showdown with Islam Makhachev on the White House card, Islam himself isn't buying it. He insists Conor's fighting days are behind him, claiming Khabib broke his mind and citing setbacks like the recent anti-doping disqualification as proof. From Islam's perspective, the idea of McGregor stepping back into the cage is more fantasy than reality. For him, the narrative is clear. Conor's past glory won't translate into another fight.
You know, there was like a lot of talk about people wanting to see Conor McGregor come back at the White House card. Do you think that that's something that the UFC needs or wants to see?
No, these guys never come back. Khabib broke his mind, you know. This guy never come back. He's not gonna fight anymore. I told this like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I still think he's not gonna fight.
So you think, like, I mean, Khabib...
And now he have like disqualification from the anti-doping commission, something.
Yeah.
And that's why I think no. Maybe John Jones will come back to fight in White House.
While Islam sees McGregor as unlikely to step back into the cage, he also makes it clear who is and isn't welcome in his training world. He says Sean Brady doesn't need years in Dagestan because he's already ready, but Conor is a completely different story. In Islam's eyes, nearly every fighter in the MMA world can come, train, and test themselves. Even Chandler, but McGregor is the one exception, the only name that's off limits on the soil of Dagestan.
I'm gonna give you a fighter's name and you have to tell me whether you think that they have to spend 2-3 years in Dagestan. Conor McGregor.
Conor, no, not allowed. Sean Brady, no. He don't have to come. Machado, yeah, he have to spend some time in Dagestan. Paddy Pimblett, he have to live in Dagestan to learn how to wrestle. Ilya Tapuro, like our neighbor. Chandler, yeah, for cardio, he have to come. Camaro is already been there. Leon Edwards, who was training in AKA before, he can come. Mandalena, it's good area for him. Welcome.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen weighs in on the potential White House card and doesn't hold back on Conor. He says there's a lot of talk about a Gaethje versus Conor matchup, but Conor isn't willing to drop to 155, and Sonnen thinks it makes sense to take him off the board entirely. In his view, Conor likely won't be part of the event, while a clash between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje is the matchup that actually fits and one that could steal the show. Sonnen frames it as a fight with real stakes and excitement, the kind the fans have been waiting for.
No matter how much this bothers you, I'm sharing inside information with you. They're very interested in Gaethje versus Conor. Conor is not interested in getting down to 155. I think of that chessboard, I think I would remove the Conor piece completely. I don't believe he's going to be at the White House. I do believe Ilia versus Gaethje makes a lot of sense at the White House.
Picking up from the White House card talk, Sonnen explains why Conor McGregor is never a simple addition. Every time he fights, he's automatically the main event, and that's non-negotiable. Sonnen highlights that Conor wouldn't sign on without clarity. He won't step in only to be bumped down later. Even now, with the Red Panty Knight legacy behind him, he's still the biggest draw in MMA, and his pay reflects that. The pay-per-view details might sound complex, but Sonnen points out that only a handful of fighters have dealt with that system, so it's more manageable than it seems. Ultimately, it all comes down to respect for what Conor brings to the table, and making sure the deal matches his stature.
Conor fought, he was a main event, that wasn't something that got called into question. You can see where maybe Conor wouldn't want to commit to the White House without having some detail. Hey, I'm going to commit to the card and it's X amount to headline, but then later I find out I'm not headlining. Conor's not going to work that way. Conor's going to go, hey, you put me wherever you want, but my fee is the same because Red Panty Night is still real. Conor McGregor is still the biggest deal in MMA. And that'd be an interesting talk. I would be interested on how they did that. It's not going to be as complicated for long as you might think. Like the guys that ever experienced pay-per-view points, there's only a few of them to start with. But then the guys that are still around that experienced pay-per-view points. Right, it's a much smaller thing.
Adding on to the discussion about Conor's place on the White House card, Brendan Schaub breaks down how he'd structure the top fights. He puts Jon Jones in the main event and Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje in the co-main, keeping the biggest draws front and center. Beyond that, things get a little murkier. Schaub mentions Sugar Sean and Corey Sandhagen, but even he admits those matchups might not have the same fan appeal. For him, it's all about pairing star power with fights that keep the audience hooked.
Fights for the UFC fight card. You're Hunter Campbell. Who's your top four? If you could also include Conor and
easy work.
Jon Jones.
Jon Jones, Alex is your main event. Conor, Gaethje is your co-main event. After that gets a little weird. Sugar Sean, Corey Sandhagen. That's just from a pure standpoint. I don't know if everyone wants to see that.
Shano doubles down on what he thinks would be the ultimate White House card. He puts Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones and Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje at the top, calling it the most fire card imaginable in his view that nothing else all year could match it. He even jokes he'd pay anything just to watch it no matter the price, because the spectacle would be that insane. But he also notes the challenge. If they go all out and stack the card exactly like that, the rest of the UFC schedule could feel underwhelming by comparison. Even the prelims would be stacked, with names like Gable Stevenson, Cyril Gane, and Bo Nickal, showing that from top to bottom, it could be an unprecedented event.
I go Alex Pereira, Jon Jones, Conor, Gaethje.
That would be the most fire card. That's the best card.
That's the best card.
Yeah, if you try and do it Americans, there's no way you could live up to a card that well.
I know. You can't. They're going to have to tell Trump, like, hey, man, we know you want, like, people walking out with American flags. We can't do it. We don't have the talent.
The card you just named is a card I would actually pay. You know, I know pay-per-view is not a thing anymore. I would pay $80 to watch that.
$1,000 to watch that card.
That would be insane.
Take all my money.
You'd also, after that, UFC cards for the rest of the year, you'd be like, nothing lives up to that. That was...
Well, that's one of the problems they're going to have. Like, if they blow their load and do what Trump says, all these title fights, the rest of the year is going to be tough, man.
Yeah.
Again, all right, I'll take it. But I think Gable Stevenson, Cyril Gane, that's on the prelims of that fat ass card too.
I would love to see Bo Nickel fight.
And Dana White's words don't matter as Michael Chandler is putting it all out there, admitting he's in need of a big win and he's got his sights set on Conor McGregor at the White House. He's confident he'd come in as the favorite and says weight won't be an issue no matter what class they choose. Chandler's already fired up just thinking about the training and the chance to go toe-to-toe with one of the sport's biggest names.
How badly do you need a win right now?
Pretty badly. You know, I think you always want to, the goal is to always win, obviously. Fighting Conor is a great fight. I love that fight.
Think you'd be the favorite in that fight?
Man, the favorite is interesting because you never know with the betting odds, man. I would imagine I would be.
And that fight's going to likely be at 170?
I think, I hope. I'll
That's
fight.
what you guys have been talking about.
Yeah, that's what it was the last time, you know. 155, 170, 185, I don't really care. You know, people are like, oh, well, he'll do anything to fight Conor. I'm like, or I just don't care. I can make 155. I can not cut weight and be at 185. I can cut a little bit of weight and be at 170. I don't care. I'm an athlete. I show up, whatever weight it is. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited to kind of get into a training camp, put together a game plan, start really training with a fight date in mind, an opponent in mind, his different movements and idiosyncrasies and habits and tendencies that I've studied over the last couple of years. I think it's going to be a great fight. It's a fight that the fans want to see.
Curious who you think will make the cut for the White House card? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for all the latest updates.